You know, I'm kind of putting my shoulder into it.
That's what develops the roll crust.
Right. The Neapolitans would probably be cringing in their their Italian villas.
Yeah, like they were totally fine with the Provel.
Yeah,
It's the way you're pressing the dough. That's the problem. Chef Justin at Speedy Romeo in the Lower East Side. One question. What the is St. Louis pizza?
St. Louis pizza, to really put a definition on it, is Provel cheese. It is a processed cheese. It has liquid smoke mixed into it. They say it's a mixture of provolone, cheddar, and Swiss, which to me seems like an impossibility, but that's what it says on the side of the package.
It sounds like American ingenuity to me.
Exactly.
You're from Missouri originally, right?
I grew up in Kansas City. Come midnight, we would go hit the streets and go to a place called Emo's Pizza. Once we opened the restaurant in Brooklyn, I selfishly needed to get these ingredients to create that pizza that I'd had as a kid, but then also make it as good as I could possibly make it.
So it starts with this dough you were saying, and like, what goes into this?
So this is water, 2 different types of flour, fresh yeast, and salt. They're mixed, then we take it out, put it into containers and let it sit out overnight, room temperature. We portion the balls to this size and then let them sit in the refrigerator overnight as well. So it's a 48-hour process.
So it's very simple ingredients, but it's that time is what develops the flavor.
Exactly, right, yes.
So you got your dough here and you just start
Right,
shaping
so I've got
that.
the dough. I like to put it onto a pile of flour, just to make sure that it's not going to stick to the surface of the counter. From here, I'm just putting pressure into the heel of my hand. This is where you're gonna really start to form your crust structure for the dough. So from here, then I'm putting some pressure through the middle to kind of give the dough a little more structure. I could pick the dough up and, you know, basically let gravity stretch it out.
You're gonna give us a little...
Not so much, no. It's just a gradual stretching of the dough to the size of the pizza. From here, what we like to do is just sort of transfer this to a spot that has a little less flour, stretch it out to basically our final shape, and then now we can start to top the pizza.
With your tomatoes, you just San Marzanos and...
Yeah, just San Marzano. We basically puree that with some salt, and that's it. It's a light amount of this because you'll find that the cheese itself, once it starts to melt, it all kind of bleeds together.
Yeah.
So always start from the center and work your way out. Then from here, we're putting a hot soppressata down.
So you put the meat down before your cheese.
Exactly. This is also another protective layer in between your sauce and your cheese. You want good coverage. We don't skimp on the pork here. And then next is house-made Italian sausage that we make here. This is fennel seed, lots of pecorino, parmesan. Then it's the Provel cheese. A little bit of this goes a long way.
Is it almost gonna melt down like a Cheese Whiz?
It's gonna become that sort of, you know, American cheese consistency once it goes to melted. From here, now we're adding Parmesan and pecorino cheese. Then after that, we put a good amount of dried oregano and then a little extra red chili flake. So from there, we're ready to go in the oven. We like to make sure it's nice and hot. You know, we're at 800 degrees back there. That's the ideal range, 750 to 800. You can see exactly what's happening to the dough.
Yeah.
You know, so you can see your crust is starting to bubble up. That broiling of the flame is really what's going to melt the cheese the way we need it to, as well as put the color on the crust. And then once it starts to get that color, then we know it's time to move it. It's all just like a rotisserie. You can see the color. Now I'm just turning it.
Just want to do a little quarter turn, half turn.
So it's about a 90-second process all in all. So you also want to look underneath to make sure that, you know, you're getting some color underneath there, so that it will give you that crisp once you're slicing through it. Once you've got color on all sides here, as you see, what we like to do is basically give it a little broil. So you can just set it up near the top of the oven.
Just give that last blast of heat on that delicious Provel.
Right. So now here we are out of the oven.
Oh, wow.
Voila. So you see what happens to that Provel cheese? It basically caramelizes on top, it creates a crust. You know, you can feel that there. It's just, it's like nice and crispy, but then you can see underneath that it's super creamy and moist. In classic St. Louis style, we cut it into squares. So one cut down the middle, another cut to the left and right, and then same thing in the other direction. All right, so then we add pickled chilies to this. So these are chilies that are sliced, salt, sugar, a little bit of sliced garlic, and then white wine vinegar. And those just sit for about 2 hours and they're good to go.
Okay.
We put this on everything, but it really accompanies this dish very well.
That acidity of the pickles.
The acidity, yeah, you
just
kind of
cuts through that creaminess.
Exactly. And that's it. the St. Louis pizza at Speedy Romeo. For me, this is the definition of umami.
Yeah.
You know, you've got your wood-fired dough, San Marzano tomatoes, you know, that has some of that acid in it. Hot soppressata, you have the cured pork fat. You know, you have fresh Italian sausage with that fennel seed in it.
Mm-hmm. That really comes through the Italian sausage.
The Provel cheese, which has liquid smoke in it. You know, that's glutamic acid from your, you know, your cheese, you know, process to the caramelization on top.
There's like a nice spiciness to
Right.
not just the peppers, but from the Italian sausage as well, and the chili flake that you put on there.
You know, I was very suspect to what the customers were going to think of this. You know, this is not a New York style pizza in any way. It's not a margarita pizza in any way either. Turns out this pizza is second most popular to the margarita.
All the displaced people from St. Louis are now beating down your door to get here.
Exactly.
I always like to, you know, showcase that big hunk of meat. Now we've got some very typical garnishes. We're gonna do some onion.